found an old journal I made back in 1991, and I just opened up just any page, and let's see what I was thinking back Thursday, February 7th, 1991. School was its usual splendor. Until first hour, when I was down in Mrs. Scott's room for an interview concerning choir. Just when Sarah Jackson and I finished, Mr. Carhu came over the PA. Who?
Is this like a letter to Penthouse or something?
I don't know. We'll see. I haven't read that. I haven't pre-read this, so we're going through it the first time here. It could be terrible. Mr. Carhu, who was the vice principal, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Shramke was the principal. Came over the PA announcing the Ugly Man Court, which was to be announced the day before in fifth hour, but wasn't. He gave names like Craig, Mark Ulmer, the twins. Was it Brian and Jeff, the twins? Yeah. Twins. Ken Podina. I have no idea. I don't remember who that was. Reeve McNitt. And me. Me? Question mark? I went to the office where we were to meet. There we were told to bring in a senior picture on Friday. Jocks were asking each other who they would take to the dance. I just smiled because I already had a date.
What was his name?
All right, Uncle Scott's
What's his name?
Is that what you sound
Stop
like?
for me.
Right, you know?
That's what he sounds like in his head, right?
Stop texting me.
Oh, I did.
William Shatner. That's awesome.
What?
Where was I? Now I lost my place. Oh, yes.
You already
When I walked into choir, I was applauded. I do spit. Sorry, sometimes I forget to swallow.
That was the exact problem.
At lunch, while paying for Jostins. Jostins? Jostins? Andy came up to me and said he overheard that I had gotten over half the vote.
You're the ugliest of them all.
In Calnon's, he opened the drapes, despite what the dogs were doing yesterday. You might say, I added, he was burying his bone. The class roared. And Mr. Calnon left the room for a few seconds. After school, I found a note on my car. And I went to go pick up Mark Hancock. That's what the note said. After stopping at the bank, we...
Remember when?
No.
I didn't know there was a bank.
Manufacturers Bank. Remember Manufacturers Bank?
Standard Federal. No, it was in high school.
After stopping at the bank, we got Jennifer Eastman. And we went to Pizza Hut. Where they messed up our order. They gave us a discount. You proud of me, mother-in-law? Discount for rest of our order.
Dine and dash if it's no good.
At first night rehearsal, we did some big scenes. Oh, we were rehearsing Fiddler on the Roof at the time. Despite the fact that not many people showed. How dare they?
Does it say that?
No.
Oh.
I added that. That was.
Stick to the script.
Sorry.
No problem later. You bet.
Marcy had the same 3 jokes in this movie.
Rachel took the tabs off the cans.
That bitch.
She made a fabulous dress out of it.
And Herr Parrish yelled at Steve.
It's like Peyton Place.
I took home Andy, Tanya, who didn't want to go home. Who never wanted to go home.
Never did.
And Aaron. Congratulations. Steve, Nikki, Dan, and I stopped at Taco Bell.
Which means you was angry
no.
in the car.
There was a lot of people in the Jeanette that night, yes.
Do that fast for a minute.
That's why you had to go home. There were too many people in the Jeanette. I just had rehearsal.
You just had Pizza Hut.
I was a growing boy. Steve, Nikki, Dan, and I stopped at Taco Bell where we were interrupted by Cliff and his friends.
That's bad.
They tried to follow us home,
Creepy.
and we lost them on 5 points. The way it's straight. They found us again after dropping off Dan.
Oh no. Do these people know where you live?
Yes. They followed us as we zigzagged through Steve's neighborhood over by St. Val's. I took Nikki to Donut Town. We went to Donut Town.
Was it your first time?
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
She got it custard filled. Good. Too far. I crossed the line.
But Mark, did you get the donut hole?
I got the whole donut.
Yeah.
She got the munchkin. All right.
Those dogs in the window.
I took Nikki to Donut Town where she bought me a donut, and I told her I had no life.
But you're the ugliest man in school.
By half the vote.
She didn't believe me. After dropping her off, I went home. Pretty good day.
Oh, that was a
That was
good
just a Thursday.
What are you when I get home? Pizza Hut, Taco Bell. Happy birthday to me! Come on in! Come on in! Howdy, everybody! People of Boca Musica, everybody! Glad to have you. I was just going. I found. Just to get you up to speed. I found down in the basement an old journal from my senior year of high school, and I was reading selections from it.
And so far, he's eaten a lot.
Yes, I did.
Taco Bell,
The
donuts.
Cliff Notes are Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Donut.
That was Thursday.
That was Thursday. You can imagine the weekend.
It's like the hungry Holden.
I'm gonna take a chips chair. Sit down, Joy. You're still texting me. Stop it.
Yeah, try that.
That one wasn't her.
Yes, I will take you to Tony Town, Jeff.
It never shows up, and they make it increase.
Ignore the sprinkles. We all cross over. I got last name.
We shouldn't have seen it.
Hi, everybody. Come on in. Come see you. I'll catch you up. I'm reading from the journal from my senior year of high school. Just for fun. Because I got nothing.
You missed the best part.
I was waiting for more improvisers to show up. Thank you for showing up.
One day, pizza had Taco Bell and donut town.
Monday, February 11th, 1991. First hour. We had a student council meeting where I was overlooked for Thursday student exchange. Anthony couldn't make it because he was taking Oulette's blood and guts test.
Oh, that hurts.
What?
Oh, that's history time.
Blood and guts test.
That's that.
At Madrigals, we got 2 new songs.
Check your phone. Time's up.
It's like you having your own variety show. You gotta say it out loud.
Read your text messages.
Well, Woody's. Hello, Woody. Woody take a picture of me and sent me that. So. And said, I bet this is freaking you out. Yes, seeing a picture of me is freaking me out. And then a diva sent me, Diva, where are you? Hi, Diva. Good. She sent me, you have my vote, so that's good. And my beautiful young bride asked me if I could sing.
Yay, yay.
Can you?
Take it off!
Oh! Where was I? Oh, yes. On my way out of Madrigals, I talked briefly with Nikki. Remember, we went to Donut Town together.
At least you talked to her after.
Who told me that she was wearing a strapless white dress? Apparently, she was my date. I left following Andy and Greg, and then I did my duties. I dutied at the post office. I registered for the draft. I dutied at the Secretary of State. I registered to vote.
Stop it. I'll pour water on it.
I picked up Dan after picking up Andy. And we went to get Tanya. Not sure which one. It could have been for his time.
It could have been, but it probably isn't.
Tanya rushed out and told us Aaron was going to get her.
Must have been.
Must have been there.
Well, thank you. You could have texted it out.
I'll give it my phone. He doesn't really know how.
He showed up, and we told him that he could have her. At rehearsal, we did the last scene, which did not run smoothly. Thank you, Jess. It's a lovely picture. Thank you, Renee. Gotta fix that on your kids. I look like a white man.
You too.
Yeah, that's why you wrote. You look like a white woman. We started at the top of the act. After that, and a large number of chorus people missed their cue. I've been asked to turn the heat down. Is it warm?
No.
Well, stop sitting in the back way up there then if you're warm. Come down here, it's cooler. Sitting in the back.
Out here with the cool people.
Full house.
Full house. Full house.
Those are
Or Genetti's, this is a large number of chorus people missed their cue. This caused Herr Parrish to rant and rave again and declared that you will not leave the auditorium except to go to the bathroom, but that's only after you get the permission. He was the German teacher. He then gave us a lot of spiel about how theater is his baby. But he won't push us any more than he'll push himself.
I don't know what that means.
While sitting in the back of the auditorium, Parrish's orders, the rumor was passed that Kristen's Maxi Melt knocked her up. Kristen. Thank you, Shmoo. I touch my cake and eat it too. And apparently Anita says I'm freaking Woody out. Am I freaking you out, Woody?
No, I'm fine.
All right. Good.
Boring me a little bit. Okay.
Why do? I drove home Andy, Dan, and Marie. The hell's Marie? Tanya got a ride from someone else. And Aaron got a ride from his mom.
Ew. I know, it's time to watch.
Too much time on it.
Andy made passes at Beth. Who the hell's Beth?
Beth Raisler.
You say so?
No, Beth
Well,
Oley.
yeah,
Holden?
yeah.
Oh.
And we took Marie home first, making her sit on the Nerf javelin.
What were the shenanigans when you were in your car? Donut tots. Oh. Sitting on the nerve.
We pulled into her driveway.
I'm not making it up.
And I exclaimed, let's go say hello to the folks. So we followed her in and said hi to her mom, who was German. We went to Teresa's.
Oh, Sherry Brubaker? Yeah.
And we followed her to the Provenzolas, where we played with my Nerf javelin.
Such a slut.
I took Dan home and Andy home, and I went home. Let's do one more, this is
How
fun.
many more years do we got?
This is the second day. What are you talking about?
We didn't eat that day. That's true.
This could be a fine podcast. And do a day, each podcast, you listen to it.
I'm always in it, because I'm always getting
You should start like on February 10th and read every day, once a day on the podcast. We have to follow you.
I was just texted Menards.
a picture of my art.
Thank you for the picture of Menards. Want to hear more about Menards?
When'd she get up?
Saturday, February 16, 1991. Good day.
Oh!
I woke at 8:30 a.m. and after a cold shower, yes, Christy. I went to decorate the cafeteria for the dance. Apparently you had to do that if you were on the student council. I stopped at Crew before going home. And Herr Parrish told me I owed him 4 hours next week. Because I never went to Crew. I went home and rested for the dance. Aaron guest called and asked how many were going to Chi-Chi's. Remember Chi-Chi's? I never expected that there would be such a crowd. Aaron put a reservation. Thank you, Cal. I'm a big, pink, blonde Winston Churchill. I am. You're all fired up. You're all fired up in the hours.
That's all I came here to see.
Where was that? Aaron put a reservation for 30
Wow.
under our names.
That's a lot of names.
Oh boy! Andy picked me up at 4:30 in his 2-door boat. And we went to the mall to buy his pants and a shirt. That's thinking ahead for Andy.
Meanwhile, you were
With him. And then we went to the florist to pick up the flowers. I had dinner at home. And I picked up Nikki at 8:17, 2 minutes late. We went over to the Shaw's house. Nikki's friends, according to this, where we took numerous pictures. We slipped and slid our way to the school, where we bought our ticket. We found a seat near Mary and Jim's table and danced our first slow dance.
Whoa.
Afterwards, we socialized and discovered that Dan had been stood up. Poor Dan.
What's he doing?
What?
What was he supposed to go with?
I don't have that information.
This movie Chicky was dating.
Married the chick he was dating.
Yes, you're right.
Rather good one.
Don't remember.
It wasn't too long when they called the courts into the hallway. There were pictures taken, and we walked out being introduced by Dan. Dave Keys and Kim Lazar won. And I danced with the freshman girl I escorted. The courts were called out again for more pictures, and after a few more slow dances, we left. It was snowing furiously outside, and we slowly made it to Chi-Chi's, where we waited a few minutes to be seated. Our reservation for 30 and Tanya's reservation for 15
Holy cow.
were combined, and we kept one for about 20. Apparently we lost some people. I had 3 tacos and some fried ice cream. Nikki had some long-named thing. And some fried ice cream. And drank a virgin.
Also marks the goal.
I was waiting for something. I took pictures despite Mary and Jim efforts. They were fighting. We left at about 1 a.m. and I took Nikki home. The goodbye was short because her parents were waiting to get into the driveway. But I did get a kiss. I went to Aaron parents' house.
That's where you got the kids.
That was my way of saying second base. I went to Aaron's house.
That's right.
Until 2, and then I went home. I slept in the next morning. I also did a journal when we did Annie. I've opened up to Wednesday, January 31st, 1990. My birthday. In choir, I announced I was available while I passed around pencils.
What a pickup line. That's a good move.
How available, here's a pencil.
So in other words, you had wood.
I was letting them on. Katie gave me a balloon that I sucked the air out and made my voice sound high. Tonight we went to dinner at Charlie's, and Dad began telling me the history of salads. I kept expecting Jody to walk in because he told me he was going to show up.
That's so like Jim.
It is. Thursday, February 1st, 1990.
Oh crap, we're going backwards.
Let's say we're off vacation.
After school, there was a singing rehearsal. Orphans showed up and attached themselves to my leg. I didn't have a ride home, so I got one from Mr. Cushman.
That's because you didn't have that Chevette yet.
He dropped me off at the end of the street.
I'm good with you. Get out.
Couldn't go the extra block and a half to drop me
He got
Dave called me up and asked what I was doing tonight. I told him I had no money. He then went on to ask for my advice about asking girls out. I told him he called the wrong guy.
Can't you see me pass out pencils?
He had asked Nikki Goodrow to the Queen of Hearts, and he wanted me to ask her how she felt about him.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Next year I did.
Oh, you should have taken your advice.
Here comes the good part. Life. Don't talk to me about life. Junior in high school. Friday, February 2nd, 1990. I picked up Chet, and we drove to school. I wasn't needed, nor was Chet, but I decided to go anyway. After a few nose jokes about Mary, well, she should have come to the party.
There's something about Mary.
We got on stage and started to dance. Although I wasn't in the scene, Mr. Mestis wanted me to learn the step because I would be getting it myself later. After rehearsal, Katie asked what we were going to do. I said going to see a movie. What movie, she inquired. Born on the 4th of July. Jody pulled me out of there. I followed him to his house. And I drove to the theater. Don't know why I had to put that. I sat away from them. And a nice tall person sat in front of me.
That's not her.
After the show, we drove to find a phone. What year is it? We had to find a phone. Youngins in the front row. Yeah, you born in 1989. You were a year old.
I was alive, okay?
Oh my god.
When Charlotte phoned, she found out they weren't taking any more orders. We went to Little Caesars, and neither were they. There was no hot and ready when I was a kid. You kids have it too easy. You're ready. God, no.
With no phone.
With no shoes?
We ended up at Taco Bell.
Two lesbians are eating a Mexican now. What are the decision?
And they screwed up the order! Life! Don't talk to me about it!
Taco Bell and Pizza Hut are the same around here, aren't they?
Giving us a steak soft taco instead of 6 soft tacos!
You're
I
bad.
should have realized. It seems so much cheaper.
But I bet you got a discount.
They just shouted through 2 cans on a screen.
I took them to Charlotte's.
Smoke signals.
Charlotte invited me in. I said I really must be going. I went to Taco Bell.
I've been practicing for 40 years.
Picked up some food and went home. Monday, February 5th, 1990. There was a singing rehearsal after school today. Before going to the choir room, I went to the library and received my script. Mr. Cushman didn't show up, and we all waited for him till 4 o'clock.
Well, that is so Cushman.
I went down to the library and I told Mrs. Clark. She called up Miss Haggard and conveyed to me that we should leave a list of names of the people that showed up. We did that and also left a nasty note. We are teenagers. We have lives, Mr. Cushman. You cannot stand us up in a tacos to eat.
Taco Bell is not open 24 hours.
For 1,000 orders, and then here from our orders at Taco Bell. Life, don't talk to me. Tuesday, February 6th, 1990.
That's my birthday.
Now I know why those kids I subbed for in Cushman's class thought you could leave if he wasn't there in 15 minutes. It's all your fault.
I stopped by at Crew just to see how it was going,
That's work.
but I ended up helping. We built the bunk beds for the orphanage. So much for Crew scum.
You'll owe 4 hours next year.
Wednesday, February 7th, 1990. I picked up Dan Chapman at 7 and took him with me to the running of Act 1. He almost forgot his script, but I reminded him a few houses from his, and he ran back and killed it.
Scholarly
Mr. Cushman showed up,
Yeah.
and Jody and I saluted him as he entered. We showed him. Mr. Cushman explained to the cast that it wasn't his fault for not being able to show up at Monday's music rehearsal,
His dog ate the
but
script.
the office's. Mr. Mestis was asked later by a girl if she could be a servant.
Good transition.
Finally, it's getting good.
Although she didn't show up for the initial blocking, Mr. Mestis announced that he would not change the schedule for anyone if they can't make it to a rehearsal. I whispered to Jody, like Mr. Cushman. Sickening him.
Stick to him.
Jody hit me. He was right to do so. Later that night, when going the mansion scene, no, we're going over this. When going the mansion scene for the second time, I entered saying my line, "Been away 6 weeks, where the hell is everyone?" Jody whispered, "Mr. Cushman." And I laughed. By the end of the night, I had collected quite a large number of people that needed to ride home.
And where'd you go?
Jody wouldn't take any of them. I ended up with Kate in the front. And that's supposed to be K.E. And Tracy, Dan, Kelly, and a girl named Jenny in the back.
This is a big load for a Chevette.
And where'd you go to eat?
I first dropped off Jenny, then Tracy. I took Telegraph to 8 Mile. When I dropped off Dan, then Katie, and lastly Kelly. We did not eat.
I don't believe you.
One last one. All right. Monday, February 12th, 1990. Tonight we did the cabinet scene. It was hilarious. It began with Mr. Mestis explaining that Chet's groin is easier to see when sitting at a table than his face.
Read that again, would you?
It began with Mr. Messis explaining that Chet's groin is easier to see when sitting at a table than his face.
Oh, this explains a lot.
Punctuation, sorry. He then gave out the roles.
Wait, what rolls or rolls?
Roles.
Dinner rolls, yeast rolls.
Oh no, acting roles. Making Charlotte a guy, then a gal. We still don't know which. I went up and did my lines.
Perfectly.
Picked up Annie, and we tried to sing Tomorrow.
Do it now.
But it was only today. Sing.
After exiting, they continued the scene. We tried. Jody, who had to stand to say his line, was hampered by a folding chair that would fall every time he stood.
Yeah.
We thought it was just Jody, while he claimed it was the tape. It was the tape. So he gave the chair to Chet, and when Chet stood, it fell again. We all cracked up. We did the next scene up to I don't need anything but you. I learned to waltz, and Emily leads. A reading from Book of Love.
Yeah.